Hello everyone, welcome back. So the announcements of Gen 6 thought it'd be fun to reminisce on Gen 4, and review each season and rank them from worst to best. Disclaimer to start with, obviously, I'm not saying any of the seasons at the bottom are bad, because frankly I think all 9 seasons are good, but also this is obviously my opinion, you're free to agree or disagree with me, I'm not gonna kill ya, but be sure to leave a comment and give me yours, I'd be interested in hearing your 2 cents on this topic. Without further ado, let's get into the ranking. Yeah, I think everyone saw this ranking coming. I can go on and on about how all the ways this season could have been written a lot better. I thought the School of Friendship was a good idea in theory, but people called it the School of Colonialism for a reason. If only teaching the other species about friendship just feels like it's missing the point. I definitely feel as though it could be misinterpreted as saying that they're superior, which, of course, shouldn't be the case at all. Thing is, this low-hanging fruit easily could have been avoided by just having other species teachers. Like, it wouldn't have been that easy. Many episodes, like the end in Friend, revert on character development, like Rainbow, Dash, and Rarity have known each other for years. At this point in the story, like, their different styles should not be a rift between them. Then you have Yakety Sax, and oh boy. To be honest, I think I'll probably make a whole video on how bad this episode was. The entire episode just mischaracterizes Pinky on so many levels, and completely misreads her entire character. However, I don't think enough people talk about the positives either. The Student 6, well, I do think they're introduction was a bit rushed. I think they were a great addition to the cast and I was immersed in their story. Spine Getting Wings was cool and School Raise is one of my favourite arcs in the show. I love Cozy Girl a lot. She's one of my favourite villains for sure. I think the main problem with season 8 was that it was trying too many things at once. His ideas were great, but like everything more or less just happens. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like it's juggling a lot of character arcs at once with all the newcomers. But for everything that it got wrong, it got a ton right, but its pitfalls were what put it in last place for me. I'm not sure if this is unpopular, but I have a very long list of issues with Season 7 as a whole. First off, starting with a regular 20-minute episode and not a 2-part arc was underwhelming. While it was a great episode, I just don't think it's worthy of being a season premiere episode. It belongs in the first quarter for sure, but not the smack at the start. I find a lot of episodes to be a very bad execution. Parental guidance is a prime example of what I mean by this. In this episode, we meet Dash's overbearing parents who praise her for every little thing. The show acts like this is good parenting for some reason. I like them. Like, I get the message, and meant to be to appreciate people who raised you, but ask any good child psychologist, and they will be able to tell you the damage of overpraising your child. Like, they constantly invade boundaries. Like, these guys shot a firework directly at the Wonderbolts. Not just at the show, not beside them. No. Directly at them. Like, it was a missile. Yet the episode acts like Rainbow isn't wrong for lashing out at them, when this was the type of stuff they were at. Like, I'm pretty sure that would get you a reckless endangerment charge in real life. There's also Honest Apple, which isn't as bad, but Applejack feels super out of character here, and like she just isn't usually this oblivious when she's hurting someone's feelings. Like in most other episodes, she's quite perceptive, but for some reason, it just took away her ability to perceive social cues. Also, her being asked to judge the fashion contest was just strange and doesn't really make much sense. Rarity knows Applejack knows next to nothing about fashion, and it honestly, the show justifies it by saying that she's honest, but it still just seems like an odd choice. Then you have episodes like It Isn't the Main Thing About You that are well-intentioned and have a good message, but I feel like the ending misses the mark and goes against it. And the plots are contrived and have weird retcons, like Rarity completely changes her look after losing her mane, which kind of defeats the purpose of the whole message. And earlier in the show, Twilight was able to give Spike a mustache, but now this kind of magic is too complicated according to her. It just feels like lazy storytelling. However, when the plotlines are executed well, this season is a blast. Secrets of Pies is one of my favourites, so this episode is funny as hell to me. Discord and Harmony too, but mostly because Discord's one of the funniest characters on the show. And Fame and Misfortune is also great. Overall, season 7 is a blast in spite of its flaws. I can see myself getting some hate for putting this over season 7, but these are my honest opinions, so I'm not gonna hold it back. While season 9 has its fair share of issues, I found it to have far less episodes that I hated in season 7 or 8. I liked a lot of the season's ideas, even if many of them feel rushed. Ending in the end is one of my favourite two-part arcs in the series. Even though I agree some elements could have been written better, seeing Cozy Glow, Chrysalis and T-Rex all team up was a real treat, and I learned the team dynamic a lot. The season also redeemed Sombra a lot for me. Don't know how much hate I'll get for this, but he was always my least favourite villain on the show. It's not that I hated him, I just found him to be super uninterested compared to the likes of Nightmare Moon, Discord and Chrysalis. I don't see that much of him in the Crystal Empire. Not until the last stretch. His short-lived presence just made him pretty forgettable in my eyes, and he didn't seem as much of a threat as the aforementioned villains. Meanwhile, in the beginning and the end, I found it to be much more of a threat. Destroying the Tree of Harmony was not something I expected to happen on the show at all. Season 9 has its pitfalls, I definitely agree. Like, for instance, it has the same issues as Season 8, where a lot of the episodes have characters acting like its early seasons. 2, 4, 6 Great is an example of this, where Rainbow Dash acts very irresponsibly to something she was asked to do. The moral of the episode is nice, but it makes no sense. Rainbow is asked to lead the cheer team for the Pokeball tournament, and in turn learns to care for things her friends like. However, this doesn't make much sense, because in Salaro View, she was willing to help Rarity despite not caring for fashion at all. Also kind of defeats the whole scene where she's trying to teach Flo to try to cheer. While season 9 has its issues, I enjoyed it a lot for what it was. The last problem, while rushed, it gave us a wholesome and satisfying ending to the show, and I think the ratio of good to bad episodes was pretty good for me. I'll be honest, this is where the video got hard. Seasons 1 to 6 are also good to me compared to the last third of the show, that deciding where to rank them was pretty challenging. While season 5 did introduce Starlight and the Cutie Map is one of my favourite two-part episodes in the show, I found the season to be weaker than the other 5 overall. I wasn't a fan of the Cutie remark. I just found Starlight's backstory to just be, what? If you get what I'm saying? Like, so she drifted apart from her friend, and saw that as a reason to hate cutie marks and start a cult. It just felt like an excuse to write a redemption arc. However, there were so many better ways you could have made her sympathetic than this lame origin story. Then there's What About Discord, which is probably one of the worst episodes in the entire series, in my honest opinion. Up there with Yakety Sax. Most of the main six dislike Discord. He mostly just shows up to piss them off at this point in the show, and suddenly they're best buddies with him? Like, the premise makes no sense. However, while I can't be negative about a lot of this season, it's excellent overall. Majority of the episodes are great. Thanks for the memories touches on deeper themes such as grief, and is a great allegory to showcase what grief looks like. Found make friends but keep Discord to be entertaining, mostly because I like Discord a lot and I find him hilarious, especially in this episode. And the main attraction ends up being a good critique of the music industry, and it just has so many more just great episodes. While season 5 is excellent, it's just heavily brought down by the week 2-part finale, and housing probably the worst episode in the entire series for me. Season 6 has a lot of my favourite episodes. The Saddle Row review is great, one of the funniest episodes for sure. I also love A Heartwarming Tale. It's a very fresh take on A Christmas Carol. It feels like a combination of A Christmas Carol and How the Grinch Stole Christmas to me, both of which are my absolute favourite Christmas movies. It must be the Muppets version or the Jim Carrey version though. And this is just scraping the surface of all its great episodes. However, as much as I love the greats, the lows are too low to ignore. For instance, The Carts Before the Ponies. Good God, I despise this episode. I mean, surely they're not this stupid, right? That they can't understand that this is a kart race for fools. Then there's 28 pranks later, and if you ever wondered why Dash is my least favourite in the main 6, I think this episode should get you up to speed. While I think she's an overall well-written character, her best episodes just hit worse than anyone else for me. Like, Fluttershy's there hyperventilating and Rainbow Dash is just laughing? Frankly, I would probably make up a whole video explaining why I despise Dash's characterization in this episode. They just took a brass, cocky, sporty character and made her into some obnoxious bully. Not to mention, genuinely, what was the moral of this episode? They should take revenge on people? I can understand why they pranked her back collectively, but like, I wouldn't wish such a cruel prank on my worst enemy. Two wrongs don't make a right, and this episode just has the risk of accidentally teaching kids revenge is a good thing. The season has its blunders, but the greatness outweighs it for sure. Overall, an excellent season. Because some of the best episodes in the entire show. I didn't even mention things like every little thing she does, which is just wicked fun. Nothing and Prance has also been great development for Twilight, or even to wear her back again. One of my favourite two-part episodes for sure. Season 6 is great, however, it's dragged down by its bad episodes, being some of the worst in the series, in my opinion. It's baffling to me how a season can get so many amazing episodes, but then mess up in so many at the same time, which is why it's below a lot of seasons. Okay, now we're into what I consider the peak of the series. Seasons 1 to 4 are definitely my favourite seasons by a landslide, and I don't see much disagreement with me there. Ranky D's was definitely a lot harder than the last two. Season 3 is shorter than the other 8 seasons. I'm pretty sure this was a contract thing. The original contract only approved 65 episodes of the show, so as a result, Season 3 had to be shortened. There is a lot of great in this season, as well as a lot of stuff I wasn't a fan of. I wasn't a fan of the Crystal Empire, for instance. I already touched on earlier on why I wasn't a fan of Sombra. I just found him to be an incredibly boring villain. Whilst I don't dislike him as much now, but it's more because of season 9 than this season. He's just kind of an evil dictator who enslaves others. He's not smart like Chrysalis or even funny like Discord was. Just compared to all the other antagonists we had up until this point, he felt like a massive step down. On top of that, he has barely any real screen time. Not even 10 minutes, I don't think. He just ends up being a very two-dimensional bad guy. The most slice of life episodes are pretty good for me for the most part. Some of them are weird conclusions, like too many Pinkie Pies, where the plan was make her watch paint dry to prove she's a real one, and I don't understand why they didn't just give her a test on everyone in Ponyville. Like, she would surely pass that, no? But even then, the season still manages to have a pretty good ratio of good to bad episodes. Like, I liked Magic Duel quite a bit. I liked seeing Trixie as an actual villain and not some obnoxious show-off like she was when we were first introduced to her. Discord's redemption arc in the season, and he goes on to be one of the funniest characters in the show for me. And I also thought it was cool how just for sidekicks and games only plays linked into each other. I don't know, is that just me? Overall, while I wouldn't consider to be season 3 to be weakest of the OG seasons, it's pretty damn good and has some quality episodes. Next up, we have Season 4. Both arcs are two of my favourite in the series, and the Twilight and Terror effect in the last episode? Yeah, my nerdy ass was geeking out over that for sure. Princess Twilight Sparkle actually showing us Celestia Nuna's sealing way when she became Nightmare Moon was also a treat. Both arcs had a lot of stakes to them as well as twists, making them some of the best in the entire show. In fact, the two-part episodes are the main reason this season is so far up on the list, to be blunt. Both told excellent stories and gave us great character development. The season had a lot of my favourite episodes. I Philly Vanilla I enjoyed a lot because I relate to Fluttershy a lot as somebody who has issues with social confidence. I also love Treasure and the message it gave, mostly because I love Rara Jack and Flutterdash, and I think they make excellent duos, and I low-key ship them. Also, it introduces Maud, so automatically it's a good season. Only episode I'd say I disliked was Some Pony to Watch Over Me, because I always found that they deliberately made Applejack overbearing for the sake of the plot here. None of it felt in character for me at all. Sure, she would be protective of Apple Bloom, but she's never gone this crazy about it ever. Oh, overall, Season 4 is great and definitely one of its best seasons. The season that started it all. You automatically have to respect Season 1 for giving this a great show. The opening two-part episode gave us some great world building, introducing us to the characters, a lot of them being funny introductions, like in the case of Fluttershy. Gave pretty good first impressions of these characters, and the song does a good job establishing the elements of harmony, what each character is all about. On top of this, many of the best episodes are in this season. Think Before You Sleep almost made me die from laughing. Like, this whole episode is why I ship Rara Jack, truly. Bridal Gossip makes for a great anti-racism episode. A Dog and Pony show is probably my favourite in the entire series. If you ever want to know why Rarity is my favourite, I would just sit you down and put on this episode and that should clear things up. Also, I found Body of One endearing. I don't know, I just find there's something about Pinkie remembering everyone's birthday except her own just really sweet. Really says a lot about her character to me. The reason why this is on the season 2 is because of one episode. Yeah, you already know what I'm about to bring up, don't you? Over a barrel, good god, how did this even get greenlit? Like, genuinely, whose idea was it to take colonialism and make it into a sharing episode? And why did nobody interject and say, hey, maybe this is kinda racist and we shouldn't air it? Like, I mean, there's not much I can say about this episode. It isn't a dead horse at this point. It's insensitive and bad taste, and frankly, all I have to say to whoever wrote this is be better. Overall, apart from that episode, season 1 is amazing, and I can't express in words how good it is. Now, onto my number 1 spot, it's season 2. I can't express how much I love this season. Discord is such an amazing villain. I love how he was able to turn the elements of harmony against the main 6 and more or less deprive them of their friendship. It's an insane feat just how inseparable these 6 usually are. On top of genuinely just being a funny character. A cancel a wedding often gets shat on by a lot of fans, but frankly, I loved it. My only issue is that Twilight doesn't really get a real apology apart from Applejack, when she was right about Cadence being the imposter, but other than that, it was a great storyline with high stakes. On top of having some of the funniest episodes, into Less Than Zero, Twilight crashing out in the episode was so funny, mostly because I swear I'm just like her. I kid you not, I make to-do lists every day, and this is next on my list as of writing this, so I completely understand the crash out. I found it very relatable. Dash breaking into the hospital to get the Dairy Dupe, I could read it and weep, had me in stitches. Maybe because I have a childish sense of humour, but the absolute absurdity of it was just too funny to me. Also, I liked a lot of character development that Fluttershy got in this season. Putting your hoof down does a good job teaching the difference between assertiveness and aggression, and I did enjoy watching Fluttershy overcome some of her anxiety and flying in Hurricane Fluttershy. Baby Cakes is probably my favourite Pinky episode. It's entertaining, funny, and all at the same time, it gives Pinky a good character development moment of realising responsibility and when to get serious. Say this season's only real pitfall for me was Mysterious Ne'er-Do-Well. It's not as bad as Over a Barrel or Yakety Sax, but it's a pretty terrible episode regardless. I'm super baffled as to what the moral of the episode was. So Dash just shouldn't be proud because people are still breathing because of her? Okay, maybe she was letting the hero thing get to her head, but that's no excuse for what her friends did at all. Dash had then the right to be a bit prideful. She'd saved so many lives and they're just trying to rain on a parade by making a fake superhero upstage her. It's honestly just bordering straight up emotional abuse, but yet somehow Dash is the villain here. It's just a terrible episode, and I'm baffled as to what it was even trying to say. Overall, season 2 is my favourite by far, but only season 1 rivaling it for me. Both its 2-part episodes told excellent stories with great villains, and the slice of life episodes make it the best season of the show in my books. So that concludes my rankings. Do let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. I'd love to get a discussion going. Again, like I said, I think all the seasons are good in their own right, and I think it's very telling about how great a show is when all its quote-unquote bad seasons are still very enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed this video and be sure to leave a like if you did and subscribe as it helps me out a lot. Thank you and goodbye.